I'm really glad that I had the opportunity for those that had the knowledge that was older than me to see something in me that was bright enough for them to say, yo, we gonna show you what you don't know about yourself.
Yes, sir.
And so I had to get the knowledge of myself. I had to learn where my people come from. Before that, I didn't know. And so I started digging into the history. I didn't even know the difference between an Indian and a Bengali. That's how I learned, okay, oh, I'm Bengali. Like, that's a different type of tribe. Like, that's a whole different, community. Let me learn the roots of that. Let me learn, okay, what happened between Bengal and Bangladesh? Oh, like, that's one land that was split into two countries and made to fight one another. Like, oh, that's what the white man do everywhere he go. Okay, let me learn. Okay, what the people look like back there? What's they like? What do they like back home? My last name at birth is Das. That means black. Why is Das meaning black a popular last name in this part of South Asia? Who are the black people of South Asia? Where do they come from? And learning that history. That's when I learned about Ivan Van Sertima and Runoko Rashidi and the books that they wrote. And this is all thanks to the gods. This is all thanks to the men that had the knowledge before me.
Yeah.
And so I wouldn't have gone on this journey otherwise. So now, like, when I teach, I'm teaching it in a way that somebody like, yo, they got an Indian coworker or homeboy. They're like, yo, you need to check out Supreme Understanding, because he like you. He like you,
Yeah.
but he like me. He
Yeah.
not like you. He like me, but he like you though. You should learn about that though. You should learn about the stuff he's talking about. And so yeah, now there's more people that's like learning, like, oh, okay, the people of Asia, the people of the Americas, like the first people at every place was black.
Yeah.
That's what it means to be original. It means to be the origin of all. And then you start understanding, well, what happened? What happened? And then what happened here in America? Because when them ships went around, they wasn't collecting slaves, they was collecting prisoners of war.
That's right.
Because them Portuguese and them other Europeans, them Dutch and all them, they went to war to establish their colonies, or they established colonies as trading posts and then went to war. They started setting off wars by causing people that had one little difference between them, like the Hutus and the Tutsis in Rwanda, to fight and kill one another. They give one side weapons and they give the other side weapons. And same thing they did in LA, same thing they did in Chicago, same thing they did everywhere. And then just like they do in them cities, they'll do some burn down something or shoot something up, and they'd act like it was the other side that did it. Right? Now you got people going to war with each other, and now they got to shop with the weapon makers. And now they're going to let these weapon makers come in as mediators and peacemakers. Now they the negotiators. Now they ruling. And this happened in so many places, and them prisoners of war came from everywhere, from the Philippines. People don't know, but the Moorish Empire extended all the way from West Africa to the Southeast Asia. There were sheikhs and sultans running the Southeast Asian islands. That's why Malaysia is still Muslim.
Yeah.
That's why parts of the Philippines are still Muslim. And they were still fighting. In fact, they had to make a treaty and an agreement in the Philippines that they would stop fighting the Europeans just so long as they was allowed to keep Islam in the center of the island. And so when they picked up the black Filipinos and the black Indians and the black Fijians and New Guineans and East Africans, West Africans, South Africans, and from Spain also, and from the Americas, where they would take black people that was native to the Americas, then they'd bring them over through that triangular trade. They'd take them to Seville in Spain, and then in Spain, the word for black is Negro. So now everybody get relabeled by the complexion of their skin, which was Negro. So everybody then became a Negro, and then all the Negroes was then brought back to the Americas. But these are actually the black people of the world, including right here. So you got people that literally was picked up from Georgia, brought to Europe, and then brought back to somewhere else, like Virginia, so that they wouldn't be able to find their way home.
Wow.
And they wouldn't even know they was at home.
To even begin with. Yeah.
Lost from home while at home.
Wow. What type of mind trick is that? So how can we start to unlearn some of these things of all the traumas that's passed down to us? Hearing you on Lord Jamar, that was a great interview about how
Thank
now we'll have us as grown-ups talking to our parents saying, you didn't parent me the right way, or you didn't listen to my feelings and things like that. So how do we properly try to go about unlearning generational traumas that's passed down from one generation to the next right now?
Yo, you think that's hard to do as an American? Imagine trying to do that as an immigrant, bro.
It's like, yo, you had food and water, didn't
what?
you?
Ask any West Indian, ask any African, yo, ask them like, yo, they try to tell their parent, yo, you didn't say I love you enough. Because really a lot of families, they don't say I love you. They show you they love you.
Through action.
Different ways. Like they'll feed you till you fat. You feel me? They'll ask you why you getting skinny. Like they'll do that. Like they got different ways of showing love. And so first thing is you got to actually change yourself from that deficit mindset and stop being a weak ass bitch. And I'm not saying that like anybody should think that I think they should think that they're not a weak ass bitch, which means that whatever feel like it's weak or whatever feel like it's a bitch kind of way of being and thinking, you have to really deprogram yourself from that. Which means okay, if you're like, oh, I didn't get enough love. All right, that's cool. But is there another way that you could see it that's more empowering? Could you see it like, can you rewrite your past as well as your future? Because right now, the reality that you got is now. The past and the future, those ain't even real to you no more. You don't exist in them. If you try to exist in the past or the future, you're going to fragment yourself. You're going to fragment your sense of self to where you're not even whole no more, because now you're dealing with anxiety, which is you trying to live in the future, or you're going to be dealing with regret, which is you trying to live in the past. See what I'm saying? So a lot of people's mental health imbalances, depression, anxiety, worry, all that is from them being too many places besides here and now. You get what I'm saying? Like, so if you here and now, what can you reclaim your power as in not just rewriting how things go from here, but what about how things went? What about instead of I ain't get enough love, I used to think that I wasn't being loved until now I realized I was being loved differently than I expected. And now I understand the kind of love, the way it was being given to me. Like, oh yeah, that was the best love that they had to offer. It might not have been what I wanted. Or that was the best treatment that I was going to get based on them situations, them factors. And now I'm here and I'm able to do better for myself. So it's a blessing because whatever I've been through, it's educational for me to be able to do what I'm about to do now. So part of it is really having that value in yourself and your self-concept being built up to know like, man, no matter what you've been through, you great, and you great enough to produce greatness that you about to go into. Mm-hmm. And you got to really, you got to know that about yourself. So when you had that creeping doubt, you got to treat that like that's that weak part of you that you got to kick out.
Mm-hmm. Come on. This is good, bro. This current generation of kids, I think that they're so smart, so intelligent. They already know how to work the phone, things like that, which can sometimes be a bad thing because then they are too dependent on social media and things of that sort. But do you feel like this current generation is quote unquote soft because of the grandparents and the great grandparents who worked in the factories or who were sharecroppers and just worked to the bone, and they worked themselves till the end? But then our parents' generation or current ones work in corporate, and then these kids get that softer life. So do you think that these kids are too soft, or do you think that they're just exactly where they need to be right now?
You know, they got that saying that said like strong men produce easy times, and easy times produce soft men, and then soft men produce hard times, and hard times produce strong men, right? So it's always cyclical in some way, right? I just wouldn't say that these young boys today or the young women of today are soft because they endure a different type of turmoil than we might have endured or than the previous generation endured. Like there's always been people that didn't want squabble, that didn't want strife, that didn't want to deal with conflict. There was always people that avoided conflict. The thing that we got to realize about ourselves is we are the products of those that kept fighting. And the fight was different for all of the people that came before us, because part of the fight that some of the people before us had to do was love. See, because we wouldn't be here without the love too. We are products of war and love. So the people that fought to survive the war and still had enough love to produce children, somehow is how we here now. And they gonna keep on making more of themselves, so it's gonna be wars that they go through. And it's gonna be love that they know. So I look at it like some things gonna be consistent. And you can't tell me these young boys is that soft because they shoot with their eyes closed. You feel me? Like they
Hey,
gonna,
it's the YNs, what they call them.
yo, I got something to say. Yo,
Yeah.
when did that happen? Where did YN come from?
Yo,
Who came up with this word?
Supreme. I don't know who came up with it, but it's
And
real,
and
brother.
look,
It's
no
real.
No quote unquote YN said I'm a YN.
Yeah, hey, it just happened. It's like NPCs almost. Like they just pop up like in a video game setting. Because me and Sid, man,
I feel like it's a white man word.
it could be.
I feel like white
could
people
be
came up with
created.
that. I feel like because
Whole
I just-
emoji for him too. And they got a whole emoji with the black ninja. That's what they use. It's a whole brand.
I feel like it's the same thing that we remember from back, like when Tupac was in circulation, like heavy, and
Thug
they were
life.
saying like thugs,
And then they start calling people thugs.
right?
Yeah.
And C. Dolores Tucker, who's trying to ban rap music,
Parental
was
advisory.
like and then they had what was the dude? He's like we're not against rappers, we're not against rap music, but we are against these thugs. Thug became like a new euphemism for young black people. Young black people have always been under attack because young black people are always the most prolific, genius, gifted, supernatural. I mean, like I've been seeing, man, I don't know about you, bro, but when I was little, I don't remember people being able to hit like a triple backflip like on concrete like that.
Nah,
Like maybe the local crackhead could do
Yeah.
like 2 or 3.
maybe one.
Right.
But
one,
if
right.
you fall, it's concrete. So yeah. you
the
taking a
survival rate
chance.
wasn't great. Right.